Since we're covering Democrat Marxist insurgents, there's no greater one than our mayor here in Los Angeles, Karen Bass, who, by the way, I love to remind people, she was quite literally trained by Fidel Castro on how to undermine American democracy using communist tactics.
With the issue of immigration.
Right.
So we saw what they call Operation Trojan Horse, where they came to MacArthur Park, the Border Patrol, opened up a Penske truck, and then ran out. That came just days after the Ninth Circuit ruled that you cannot indiscriminately go after people in places like a Home Depot parking lot. What's your response to the decision to go forward with that operation?
Sure. Well, the fact that they would even call it Operation Trojan Horse just shows that it is a performance, and it's the performance that continues to provide a sense of terror and fear in our city.
Shut up.
And what we have to look at is there is a temporary restraining order in place. They are not supposed to racially
You do not have authority over the federal government.
People indiscriminately. But that was at a Home Depot, and so right after they jump out of the truck, they start chasing people through the Home Depot parking lot. How could they possibly have been targeting individuals that they suspected of committing a crime? They were targeting Latinos.
This woman is so disgusting. I imagine there's an effigy of her in hell that Satan uses as a butt plug every night, because you can tell her spirit is mired in straight bullshit. Karen isn't just criticizing a federal immigration raid here, folks. She's deliberately reframing it as an act of terror against Latinos, because in her political religion, illegal aliens are a protected class and law enforcement is the true enemy. This isn't about due process or civil rights, by the way. It's about delegitimizing the very idea of a sovereign nation having borders and that being worth defending. By branding Operation Trojan Horse as a performance, Karen is projecting, because that's exactly what Democrats do. They stage media spectacles to inflame emotions, distort reality, and advance their stupid narrative. The deeper danger here is just how seamlessly this rhetoric fuses with the media and activist government officials like Karen, who create a closed feedback loop where emotional framing replaces factual accountability. This moment isn't just about one mayor playing to her base. It's about a glimpse at how institutional power in America is increasingly wielded to protect lawlessness, punish enforcement, and erode the very framework of our national authority.
You talked also about the protests being important. What do you think people can do that would matter? Can local officials establish any sort of limiting factor? What do you think is the most valuable pushback against things like this for people who object to it?
Well, I can tell you when they were doing the random snatching or kidnappings of people off of our streets, when people gathered, they backed away on many occasions. And so in Los Angeles, we have a rapid response network where everybody is alerted. If you see masked men getting out of unmarked cars, let everybody in the area know.
This is so unbelievably transparent, folks. Whenever a politician calls for protests, it's almost never to defend the rights of citizens, but to protect the agendas and power of the politicians themselves. Historically, politicians don't want mass public action because it's often directed at them and the injustices that they're perpetuating, which is why it's telling when someone in power like LA Mayor Karen suddenly champions it. It's not about protecting Angelenos. It's about mobilizing people to shield foreign nationals, illegal aliens, including those with criminal and even terror ties, from lawful federal enforcement. So by encouraging the public to alert everyone to ICE's live locations, Karen is effectively calling for the doxing of federal agents, putting them at personal risk while undermining active operations. Democrats have never been more desperate, and it's evident with this. That's why they're doubling down on reframing enforcement as oppression, recasting those facing deportation as victims of state violence, and turning local governments into sanctuaries, not just for the illegal aliens, but for the politically useful narrative that America's borders are illegitimate. It's a calculated political move that erodes the rule of law, that puts law enforcement in danger, and normalizes the idea that cities can selectively nullify federal authority when it conflicts with their Marxist ideology. So my question for you is this: how much longer can a nation function when our leaders openly side against our laws, our agents, and our sovereignty? How much of what you're told about justice and compassion is really just branding for power? And how often do you stop to question who benefits from this constant crisis and chaos? We're living in a moment where words are weaponized, institutions are completely hollowed out, and loyalty to ideology often outweighs loyalty to our country. If that makes you pause, ask yourself why, and whether this version of America is the one you want to leave behind for your kids. Do you want to leave a version that's built on selective enforcement, on moral theater and political convenience, or one that still believes in rules that apply to everyone equally? You tell me what you think in the comments down below. Hope you have a terrific day. Peace.